much at the end here. Yeah. Come on.
Oh my God. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Paper Chase channel. My name's John. This is my comic book channel that tries to deliver you some comic book content here and there. If you're interested in something like that, you guys know what to do. This is a great little $600 comic collection that's produced some very, very interesting books. It was a great time when we unboxed it live on the show. You can find that on the channel because when I get collections, I like to pretty much make them kind of a mystery. For the most part, we'll call it an educated mystery, and unbox them live on the channel with a lot of you guys in the community in the chat. And of course, I'm typically accompanied by some of my comic book friends, my close friends. Last night, Doc Plagueis, who's a YouTuber as well, has a great podcast, was on with me. We unboxed this together, and it was a blast. And wait till you see some of the twists and turns that this collection gave us. But anyway, I'm going to basically show you guys some of the key issues, some of the variants that I found that hold a little bit of value, and just some all-around amazing books for the matter of $600. The backstory on this collection here, typically Facebook Marketplace, which is where 90% of the collections that I run into come from. And this guy was actually selling toys. And of course, what I always tell everybody, ask, do you have comics? Do you have, what else do you have? What else are you selling? Very important. So I asked that, and he's like, yeah, I got a few boxes. He's like, I collected over the years. Plus, he's kind of bought some from estate sales and things like that. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't film anything going into this because, honestly, my expectations for this were so low. It was such an afterthought. We were literally about to go have dinner with family, and I'm like, let me go check out these couple of boxes that this guy has. When I got there, I'm like, wow, this is actually kind of promising. So we actually did the deal. The guy collected all sorts of stuff. He had a really cool place, and he said he was going to keep me in the mind for comics in the future. So that's good. So we'll get to that. What I like to do in these is give you a little appetizer video, which is basically some of the miscellaneous stuff, the bulk of the collection, just to kind of let you see what was in there. And as always, if you are interested in buying any of these things, you can contact me on Instagram. That information will be in the description below. So before we dive into the key issues and the special books to get graded, check out some of the other stuff. All right, so as you can see from all that, this is kind of, like I said, a very wide array of things here. We're going to dive into this first. This was a couple of things non-comic related were in here, but this was one of the coolest things, and this was fun to unbox this live. So there was this letter randomly stowed away here, and this is from Lucasfilm Ltd, and it's a fan club letter, and basically it's a welcome to the fan club letter, right? And in this letter, George Lucas talks about the start of ILM. ILM is Industrial Light and Magic, which is basically the special effects company. This is the company that is responsible for, pioneering CGI as we know it today. They did Jurassic Park effects, anything monumental in the 90s. I was like, wow, that is groundbreaking special effects. ILM is behind it. And so Lucas in this letter here talks about, he mentions kind of like the start of this new company here, and he's kind of vague about it, which is just really, really cool. And he says thank you, and then it's signed at the bottom. So I looked it up, and I looked up another fan letter, and they go for like $20. It's not super valuable, but it's insanely cool, and it's something I will keep for sure. And so yeah, is it a real signature? It is a real signature. Is it really his? We don't know. Could it be somebody from his fan club? You know, a lot of times these people, they have a head of a fan club, and then those people will sign for them and stuff. So you know, no way of really knowing if this is George's signature. Well, I guess I could get it authenticated, but still. The point is, it is a George Lucas signature at the bottom, and very, very cool. Was not expecting that. And if you haven't watched Andor, watch Andor. I was hesitant for so long, and I finally gave in because I couldn't deny it anymore, and I'm very happy that I did. So, speaking of that, there's some great Star Wars in this collection, and love me some Star Wars comics. That's why I got into comic books. So it's always good to see some great Star Wars, and you're going to see some stuff that's kind of hard to find here in a second. But let's just kind of dive into this stack of books here. We had pretty much an entire run of Afterlife with Archie. And not only did we have the main cover A's, but there was also a ton of variants that are in here. So check out some of these. Some of these are so cool. So here's a variant right here. And a few of these in 9.8s do hold a little bit of value, you know, $100+. So some of these might, this is not a variant, but this is one of the cover A's that is pretty sought after. Josie. Very cool cover here. Here's another one here. And I'll show some of the other variants when I get into the stack of things that will be graded or sent to CGC for a pre-screen. I have a little stack of that, and there's some other variants in there, so we'll get to those. But moving on now with just some, in general, some key issues and stuff. Got a Miss Marvel #1. This is a first print. I forget what print it is. It might be like the 4th print on this one. That is the biggest book. But this thing is tanked. And then we had this one right here, which is a kind of a concept cover or a sketch cover. And I've heard a couple, these are from 2014. I've heard a couple of people mention that maybe that's some of the first sketch covers variants that there was back then, because it's pretty early for sketch covers. So if you know any that's before that, let me know. Or is that the first sketch cover variant? Django Unchained #1, very interesting book here. That was filmed in New Orleans, where I'm from. I was actually on set a couple of nights for that because my buddy worked on it. So that was cool. We had this Daredevil second printing here. Superman Whitman variants. These right here, these go for, depending on which ones you find, can go for a good bit of money. These aren't too crazy. They're probably $15 a pop. So make sure you check out the ones that you have if you ever come across them. Some of them are just, for whatever reason, are really scarce and hard to find. This is Avengers vs. X-Men #1. This is the second printing. A book that I'm sure Doomsday is going to have very little effect on, even though that's some of what's going to happen in Avengers Doomsday. Now, this is a taste of some of the really good stuff that was in here. We're going to get to it in the last stack, the CGC stack. But this is Legion of Monsters #4. This is 2014. And that is a newsstand. Now, when you get to newsstands in 2014, we are talking the very end of the newsstand era. These are very scarce. Everybody's like, oh, newsstands. Why does it matter if it's a newsstand? Well, one, because newsstands were, places where comics were sold literally to be read. It was before the collector was established. And they're in areas that are wide open to children grabbing and fumbling, and newsstand owners and cashiers don't give a shit about the comics condition. They're not comic lovers. That's why newsstands in high grade, for the most part, newsstands in high grade will fetch a higher dollar value. But now newsstands in general in 2014, there were barely any newsstands left carrying comic books, or barely any newsstands left, period. So that's why when you get up in those years, that's why the value is there, because they are more scarce. So we'll get to some good newsstands in a bit. G.I. Joe #32. This is a key issue. Can't think of the character off the top of my head at the moment. We had this incredible book here. This is Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir. number 1. And I don't know if this is I think that is part of a 4-issue run, but only the first one was in here. And here we go again with the kind of the weird scarce printings. Like that's what I'm saying. Stuff like what I'm about to show you in 9.8s, I guarantee you will be of some sort of demand for somebody. This is Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the Toys R Us variant. And it is in really high grade. I don't know. I may get this graded or put it through a 9.8 pre-screen. This in a 9.8, a Toys R Us comic, super flimsy, you know. This is pretty cool. And this is Tom Holland Spider-Man, interesting enough. When I think of Tom Holland Spider-Man, I don't think of Toys R Us still being in business. Although I guess it wasn't all that long ago that Toys R Us went out of business, but I believe they are coming back. I don't know what they're going to do to revamp or reinvent themselves, but this was pretty cool. This one might be something to get signed by Andrew Garfield. Bleeding cool. Free comic book day. Awesome cover there. Bunch of the Star Wars John Tyler Christopher action figure variants. So we have pretty much like your core group here. Vader, Leia, Han, Obi, Chewbacca. So those are cool. Nothing too crazy valuable there, but just really neat and nostalgic. I kind of wanted to showcase Spectacular Spider-Man newsstand from the 90s, but this is a John Romita Sr. cover. So that's always fun to see some late John Romita stuff, who's my favorite Spidey artist by far. We had an Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. This is not the first print. Here's how you know. The barcode, you got to check the price. If the barcode price says, I think, $2.35, you got yourself a first print. If it says $2.99, it's a reprint. So this is a reprint. A couple more interesting variants that are in here. We're going to get into some key issues. I know kind of like, you're probably like, man, this is all kind of like weird and random shit. I know it is, but it's cool and it's fun. But there are key issues in here. I promise we will get to them. But this is some interesting variants. ASM 692. This is like a 50 year anniversary. But so there's a number of these, and these are really cool. And check out this one. Look at that. How awesome is that? So again, these are things like you don't really see too often. We had a Star Wars Droids number 1, which I've heard that book is kind of hard to find. I find that book all the time. That's maybe my second or third copy of that. We had a nice Batgirl number 1, New 52. Awesome Adam Hughes cover. This is a great book here. Spider-Man Adventures 8. This is the first appearance of Spidey in the black suit in the animated series. These are getting way more popular. I love this series. It's just a huge nostalgia kick for a lot of people. And so the Venom keys, the black suit keys in this run are really, really doing good. I sold a number 10, which is the first animated Venom newsstand, in a 9.6 that I had for a long time. And I sold that for, I think it was almost $400 or something that it sold for, maybe $350. And that was like kind of a big sale for that book. And that was, I would like another one. I'd like to find another one. We had this one. This is actually the first appearance of Omega Red, but this is the Gambit variant. A Secret Wars number 1, first print. We had an Amazing Spider-Man 298 newsstand. Good old Todd. And it could be in the 9s with the clean and a press for sure. So I don't necessarily think that this should be graded, though. I think I'm just going to keep it as is and sell it. All right. Looking for key issues. You guys are probably like, let's see some real keys here. Secret Wars number 8 was in there. Everybody knows that book. Cool stuff. Not going to get graded. Probably a 7.0. Okay, let's get into the stack of stuff that will get graded. And a lot of this stuff really is going to be 9.8 pre-screen. So a lot of this stuff, unless it's a 9.8, it's not worth grading, which CGC actually just sent out a letter about they're doing a modern bulk submission, which is 50 books. And if you have a CGC membership, it only comes out to be like $20 a book. and then the rejection fee for 9.8s is only $5 instead of $9. So it's pretty much like old CGC prices if you submit at least 50 books. And so that's probably what I'm going to do soon. I'm probably going to do that. One more book before we get into the potentially graded stuff. This will not be graded because it's not going to hit a high enough grade, but Star Wars Heir to the Empire, #1. First appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn, newsstand. Plague has called this one too. He's like, man, he's like, Dark Horse, Star Wars. He's like, you might hit a first Thrawn, and then literally 2 books. He spoke it into existence. 2 books, boom, it popped up. All right, so check this out. Any Star Wars book you're going to see in this next, however many books, if you see it, the reason why you're seeing it is because it's a 9.8 candidate after a clean and a press. So just kind of keep that in mind so I don't have to keep on saying it. But we had Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, newsstand. And I probably won't continue to say the word newsstand, but just look for the barcode. If you see the barcode, newsstand. And then we had a Star Wars Tales of the Jedi #1. Is that an Adam Hughes cover? No, it's not. There was a Wolverine #1. This is at least a 9.6. Could maybe hit a 9.8. That book in a 9.6 is okay. Anything lower than a 9.6, I would not grade that book. Had a Clayton Crane, Carnage USA #1. Been running into this one a lot. All right, let me show you these 3. And yes, these are all, it's kind of harder to tell in this, but all of these are newsstands as well. This is a Red Skull. And all of these are 9.8 candidates. So this is where this can kind of like really, really get crazy, is if you have 2014 newsstand versions of books that are 9.8. And all of these, like I said, are candidates. This could really be very, very good. So those will definitely go into a pre-screen, and I'd be very interested to see what they would do on the aftermarket. This thing is cool. I'm keeping this. Magneto. This is a variant cover. Is this Mike Del Mundo art, I think? Look at this. Magneto mouse? I don't get it, but it's fucking awesome. How cool is that? It's a variant. I like it. We had a Punisher #1, Scotty Young variant. I looked up a lot of the Punisher Scotty Young variants, and this one is definitely one of the ones that there's not that many of on eBay versus some of the other ones. Even though some of the other ones kind of go for, or one of the other ones go for a little bit more money, but there's way less of this one here. And this is, I think is the best cover. That's fucking cool. We had a Miles Morales Spider-Man #1. All right, check this out. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi Force Storm issue #3. And yes, that is a newsstand. So the way you can tell on Star Wars Dark Horse books is you're going to see either Dark Horse Comics or Star Wars Universe written in the barcode. Basically, if you don't see direct edition written in that barcode, then the chances are it could be a newsstand. But yeah, this is that's one that's super high grade. Same with this one right here. This is Star Wars Dark Times #1. You see Star Wars Universe in the barcode there. Mars Attacks. This is a great Wally Wood pre-code horror homage. Mars Attacks #1. And I'll put the original book here of what it's homaging. But yeah, this is really, really cool. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi #1. Oh yeah. This in a 9.8 newsstand would be huge, especially whenever they're going to make the Dawn of the Force, which is supposed to be a movie they're doing about the origin of the Force. That's what that series is about, and it's actually really, really good if you haven't read it yet. Very, very cool. Check it out. This one, Star Wars Darth Maul. What is this? Death Sentence. Another high grade newsie. Star Wars Darth Vader and the Lost Command. Another high grade newsie. Star Wars Jedi Yoda #1. This is not a newsstand, but this is super high grade. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, The Force Storm #4. High grade newsstand. Star Wars Blood Ties, number 1, high grade newsstand. Star Wars Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison, number 1, high grade newsstand. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, number 2, same thing. Getting back into some of those Afterlife with Archie books. This is one of the variants that kind of goes for some big bucks and high grade. It's really pretty much the Betty and Veronica TNA covers. Them watching a horror movie. So all those 9.8s would do very well. And then now here's back to some of those 50 years. These are the two that hold the most value from what I found. The ASM 692. The biggest one is this one right here. Death of Gwen Stacy. All right, 2 more books. One of these will be graded. The other one won't be. But this was a blast because this came at the very end of the live unboxing. And I was like, if I could just get one more decent size hit, I would really, really feel good about this collection here. Spider-Girl 10, that's cool. Spawn 6 newsstand. So random. Hey. All right, I think we're pretty much at the end here. Yeah. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh, fucking shit.
Dude. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
What?
Wow. Oh, dude.
Wow. Spider-Man 2099, the Toy Biz variant. And it's probably, it's in decent shape. It's at least a 9.4, I would say. And I've always wanted one of these. It's one of those in my eBay searches that I go and revisit, and I'm like, all right, who's selling it for what? And to find one in a collection is incredible. So that was very cool. And then last but definitely not least, out of nowhere, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 25, the first cameo appearance. It's like she's kind of obstructed. So she's not even fully seen. So it's, I don't know what you want to call it. The first hinting at Mary Jane Watson. Not sure. But anyway, Spider-Man 25, awesome Silver Age Spidey book, just to kind of help build the ASM collection there. Always enjoy sharing these fun finds with you guys and showing you guys what's out there and the things that I learn whenever buying collections. The more you dig and research through buying collections, the more you learn. And it just, it's a very fun part of the hobby. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Thanks again, Plagueis, for hanging out with me while I unbox this. Check out his podcast description. We'll have it below. So have a good one. See you on the next page.